Hi, and welcome to the SaVeg podcast.
I'm Rose, also known as Cheap Lazy Vegan on YouTube.
And I'm Daniel, one of your favorite guest stars on Cheap Lazy Vegan's YouTube channel.
We're two friends who love to talk about the latest trending topics.
So get comfortable and join us while we give our SaVeg take on just about everything.
You are currently listening to the previous episode of this podcast, but if you would like to listen to this week's episode and get some exclusive content, go over to patreon.com/thesavagepodcast. Hello, everybody. I think my mic is having some issues, but hi, welcome to another episode of the SaVeg podcast.
Hey guys, how's everyone doing?
Okay, we need to stop being so cheap and get some kind of
Oh my,
we need to utilize the Patreon money.
Oh, that's true.
And get like a stand for the mic situation.
Get something beautiful going on. Maybe like a little stand that goes off the table.
Yeah, let's get one of those. Okay, guys, we're gonna upgrade our equipment. We're gonna spend the $10.
We've upgraded the studio, which I like.
Have we?
With these,
I mean, I bought this table for multiple purposes, and it's been working not very well for us.
It's been working fantastic. You know, notice I'm not leaning on it anymore because if you lean too hard on this table, it just goes down.
It's supposed to be, guys. This table in front of us. It's supposed to be a height adjustable table. But
it adjusts all right.
It moves all the time, and it really annoys me. But anyways, hi, how are you? We're both very hyper today.
Super hyper.
Just warning you right now, guys. It's gonna be a wild ride.
It's gonna be a little bit epic. I mean, we've got a lot of stuff to cover.
What should we talk about?
And you know what, guys? I'm gonna tell you today we're not talking about COVID. And we're also not.
Are we not? You just mentioned it,
well,
Daniel.
I did just mention it. And we're also not talking.
There'd be a lot of things to talk about the COVID. But we won't. Okay?
We won't. We have other stuff to talk about today.
Once.
And also, we'll try not to talk about U.S. politics. But I mean, one person that we're going to talk about today does kind of fall in that realm.
Which, I mean, he who we always name?
No, not him. I'm thinking of a certain lovely lady that we both.
Oh God.
Both love.
Okay.
So a couple of stories that we're going to talk about today, just to kind of kick it off. So we're going to be talking about a scandal. Well, not a scandal, but I guess the EU is filing antitrust charges against Amazon. So it's a pretty big thing. Also, there's been like a thing warning like TikTokers and people on social media not to show their house keys online. Mm-hmm. You never showed your house keys online, have you?
I don't got house keys.
Okay,
I don't.
Damn.
This building, we don't have house keys.
Well, that's good.
We use a different, more advanced system. It's modern.
You got a chip implanted, right? You just
I do.
Scan your chip. And then also we're going to talk about, there's going to be other stuff as well, but these are the three main stories. And the other one is about Harry Styles, right? Harry
Styles.
Do you like Harry Styles?
I do.
Okay.
You don't.
No, not really.
I think we had this discussion a long time ago when One Direction was really big. Are they even a thing anymore, or did they break up?
They split up.
Okay, so I remember when they like kind of became really big, and at first I really like Zayn.
Yeah.
Zayn is, I mean he's very good looking.
He's such a good looking. He's a very attractive
man.
But then,
oh my God, like Harry Styles also, like, I'm like all for that.
I don't know what it is. I just never was like, I don't know. The whole One Direction thing. There was another not breakout band, but it was funny.
I know which one you're going to talk about.
Wanted or
yes. The na. I know you're obsessed with them.
Oh, because they came out and they were a bit more age appropriate for us.
I feel like, do they have a big gay fan base? I feel like they would. Yes.
Oh yeah, probably. The main singer was so freaking hot.
I don't remember. I don't know what they
look
like.
He had like the shaved head and like.
Yes, they very much look like they would appeal heavily to the gay demographic.
Oh, yeah. Well, there was like one for all of everyone. There was like the guy that looked like kind of like masculine. Then there was like the pretty boy, and like there was like the nerd.
I don't know what it was about One Direction. Well, they were very popular amongst teenage girls.
Yeah, and Rose, you're pretty much a teenage girl. So
excuse me, I thought you're the teenage girl.
Apparently not. I liked Wanted.
Well, I don't. Harry Styles is like hot. Well, he's more cute. Yeah. Well, now maybe he's hot. Okay,
I mean, he seems like he seems like a kind of like not nice guy per se. I don't know him, but like he seems very interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Is that a good interesting or a bad interesting?
A good interesting. He's very open-minded.
Yes, I mean, based on the story we're about to talk about.
Well, and apparently he's also bisexual.
Is he?
Yeah, there was like
God, everyone's fighting for Harry's attention.
Apparently, men and women.
And he likes older women. Did you know that?
Well,
And
Rose,
I'm
you've got
older than
it.
him.
You've got it in then. No,
I remember like there was a story about how he like likes older women.
Yeah, and did you scream?
And I was like, Harry, hi.
Like, hi,
Okay,
slide into
but
my
he likes
DMs.
like really older. I think he likes like 10 years older or something. Or I might just be making this up, but pretty sure
You're
like
10 years older than him, aren't you?
Excuse me. That is so rude. That is so rude. I was not signing up for this type of roasting.
Oh, God.
No, he's like, I think he's like 2 years younger.
Okay. Are you sure? I think he's quite a bit younger than us.
He's not that. Okay, would you like to Google? Do you have your phone?
I have my phone.
But he's so cute though. No, but okay. The thing is, he is like the best singer out of all of them. Okay.
Okay.
So like when they became a thing on X Factor.
Yeah.
I think
They were an X Factor.
they were like huge, and at that time they were like teenagers when they like were
Rose,
first.
he was born in
Shut up.
94.
Shut up!
He's 26 years
You're
old.
joking. Oh my god, I thought he was born in 1990. Okay, well, I have a chance.
He likes older women anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Okay, but like he's cute. Anyways, so he was on X Factor with like the 4 others.
Yeah.
And he was like always, I think he was like the lead singer. So I remember watching a clip and he was like he was basically the one leading the whole song. And I was like, damn. But he was like 16 at that time. And then later got older and I was like, damn. The problem is when I saw them on X Factor, they were just too young.
Yeah.
And I was like, they're like so young. They're like little children.
They're like little boys.
But then
yeah.
later, as they grew, I was like, dang.
They matured into their own, you know?
Uh-huh.
They became man.
They did.
But
Man in skirts, apparently.
But the reason that I was saying that he's like, well, I don't know if he's
Uh-huh.
officially claimed that he's bi, but like
Uh-huh.
there's been a bunch of interviews that he's done with like
Oh, yeah,
various.
I think I remember.
Yeah, and one of the interviewers, because there's like they always pose that question. They're always like, oh, so like if you were on an interview, they say, oh, what kind of guys are you into, or what would be your perfect?
Right. Oh my god, that'd be so annoying.
I know, and they do
imagine doing that every single interview. Somebody asks you
I know,
that.
literally every single interview. I've watched some
Yeah.
pretty. I think some interviews really or interviewers need to like watch it because there's been some like really sexist stuff. Like,
Oh yeah, have you seen the videos on YouTube?
yeah, there's a few.
Oh, maybe we watch the same one where it's like a compilation of like interviewers making like really just
Sexist.
annoyingly sexist comments.
Yeah.
Like sometimes a little bit more sexist than others.
Well, a perfect example was one with Charlotte Johansson, and I think it was
Oh,
her
God, yes.
and another coworker, and they both had to wear like super tight fitting stuff.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, because they were like the Marvel movie, right?
Yeah. And then they were like, oh, to her, not to her male coworker, but to her, they were like, oh, so did you wear any underwear when you under that suit?
Oh my god!
And
Oh
she's
yeah,
like-
I remember
she's like,
that.
What? Like, what does this have to do with the interview? Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, it was kind of like stuff like that where you're like, okay,
And then there was another one where it was kind of similar because
Mm-hmm.
she was also beside a male coworker. And it was like a press conference or something.
Yeah.
And the question, so first they posed a question to the male,
yeah,
to the guy. And it was like, oh, so like what kind of artistic endeavor, like very like deep question.
yeah.
And then they go to her and they're like, oh, so like,
What
did
kind
you
of-
go on any special diet to get into shape?
Oh yeah,
And she's like, she's so, I love her. She's like,
yeah.
She's like, how come you get the very like deep existential question and I get the rabbit food question?
That's amazing.
But honestly, I'd be so annoyed.
oh no, it's ridiculous.
Like, yeah.
Like, imagine we were on a movie premiere and you and me were both getting interviewed and they were like asking me all these deep intellectual questions because I look so intellectual. And then they turn to you, oh, what kind of diet did you go on for the film? What's your ideal
How'd you
man?
prepare for the kissing scene?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, seriously. Oh my God, I'd be so annoyed.
It's pretty bad. Like, it is pretty like, I just
Yeah.
hate those like double standard where it's like, well, yeah, anyway. But
Anyway, wow, guys. Okay, so Harry Styles.
so he had an interview and they were asking him, well,
Right.
what's your ideal girl?
Uh-huh.
Blah, blah, blah. Or they were talking about some stuff and then he was like, well, you know, he said something about gender not mattering or something like this. He was like,
okay.
oh, you know, guy or girl or something like this.
Damn.
In the interview, yeah. Or he like insinuated it?
Yeah, insinuated. Yeah.
So,
he
yeah.
hinted at the fact that maybe he's bi.
Exactly.
Okay, interesting.
So very
well,
interesting.
that leads us to our, I guess we'll talk about this first then, since we're already talking about it.
I mean, we probably should. Oh,
So-
there's the, whoa, gosh.
Oh, did you not see this photo?
I have
It
not.
like went viral all
Okay.
over. So I think was it on Vogue? Yeah. So he did this cover
Mm-hmm.
on Vogue where he was like wearing this dress and
Mm-hmm.
it's like, it's very like, I don't know, artistic.
Yeah.
And then I guess Candace Owens, our favorite person.
Oh God, we are digging into Candace Owens because it's like,
We talked about Candace Owens on this podcast, did we?
I
Or
don't
did
think
we
so,
not?
no.
So what do you know about Candace
So
Owens?
basically, it was funny because we were just talking about this whole Harry Styles dress cover thing. And then I was like, oh yeah, Rose, this woman, Candace Owens. And Rose was like, oh, Candace Owens. And I didn't put 2 and 2 together. So the reason I know about this Candace Owens is I can't remember how I came across her on Instagram, but she like came up on my Instagram, like, you know, feed or whatever. Okay. So I like looked at her page on Instagram, and she has so many followers.
God, you looked at her page. Yeah, she is like huge. It's disturbing.
It's crazy. And so I was like, I started to go into the Candace Owens rabbit hole, if you will. And she, oh my gosh,
she's the worst.
She is
the worst. I'm sorry if any of you guys like her, but you need to stop. Continue.
Well, and she's just so like the way that she says stuff as well.
So smug.
And so disrespectful. Like there was like she said something about like I can't remember what it was about. Basically, she started it off being like, "You guys are stupid. Like these people, you're being stupid. Blah 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 blah. The people that are doing the Black Lives Matter thing." Yeah. And then in the comment section, like so many people are like, what are you doing? Like,
really?
Why are you like trashing this movement and stuff? Like, and she's just so Anyway, I really don't like Candace Owens.
So that's what you know about her.
Yeah. So then I watched just a few videos of her on Instagram. Okay. Yeah.
So I know a little more.
Oh God.
Let's get it. Oh, you'll hate her even more now. So few years ago, not that long ago, just a few years ago, she was actually apparently liberal. Like she was not, she was a Democrat essentially. And she had this like website where she was like trashing Trump and she was like making fun of him and she was like running this website. And then all of a sudden she had this like weird existential like change in her life. Like she just went from, you know, left wing to all of a sudden like extremely conservative. Yeah. And then she started working for conservative organizations and just like saying all the, you know, standard conservative talking points like, you know, like Black Lives Matter doesn't exist. There's no such thing as like racism or systemic racism, like all this stuff. Right. And like basically anyone that knows anything like sees her and is like, okay, she's being paid by these huge like conservative organizations. Yeah. Because if there's money in anything, it's going to be the right wing.
But and also probably like for the Conservative Party, it looks good because she's a woman of color, right?
That's exactly what it is.
Like, this is what we need.
They use people like this all the time. There's always like one person because like in order to justify some sort of like, you know, racist ideology or at least like somewhat racist ideology, they can't have like a white person saying this stuff. Like, exactly. But if they have a black person saying this ludicrous shit, then people are going to be like, well, that's racist because that doesn't make any sense. Exactly. So it's like she says the same talking points that if a white person said it would sound super fucking racist. But because it's a black person, you know, somehow that justifies their, you know, racist agenda. Anyways, now she's like, and then when George Floyd happened, she made this like video that went viral on Facebook. She's like huge on Facebook because Facebook is like full of like really old people that are like really conservative. So she like made this video where she's like, I don't support George Floyd. I featured her in my, you know, my video that I was like taking down freely.
Oh,
like my Black Lives Matter video.
Yes. I do remember
because Freely used her video as an example. Oh, and I'm like, dude, like fucking come up with real sources, bitch.
Well, it's like even I watched a few of her videos on Instagram.
Oh my God, it's so bad.
They're so bad. Another one that she was arguing about was the whole, you know how we talked about trickle down economics before and how it doesn't work. Yeah. She's of course for trickle down economics and talks about like, and her examples are so stupid. She was like, she used it as a state by state basis, but she was like, oh, if one state has like really high taxes, all of those like rich people are going to move to another state that has lower taxes. And then someone commented in the section below or whatever, they're like, there's also like a federal tax that covers everywhere. Yeah. They're still going to have to pay that federal tax. Yeah. You know what I mean? Regardless of what state they're in. And it was just like little things like that. But there's so many little points that she was making where it was like, oh my God, why? Like,
I don't even the problem with her is that I don't even think a lot of people don't think that she's genuine because like it's like I think the word I'm looking for is like maybe like grifter. Is that the word?
What does that mean?
I think that means people that just kind of float. Okay, you know what? Let me find it. Grifter, not drifter.
Where your phone?
Can you find your phone?
Goddamn your phone.
Oh goddamn my phone. Find my phone. Anyway, this turned into a trashing Candace Owens podcast. But like we need
I can't stand her.
What bothers me the most is how many people follow her.
Exactly. That's the worst part.
That's so disgusting because like so many of the things that she says are just so hold on, grifter. I think that's the word I'm looking for.
Like let's just pull her up on Instagram.
Oh God. Okay, so if there's a type of person you don't want to trust, it's a grifter. Someone who cheats others out of the money. Someone who cheats others out of money. Grifters are also known as defrauders. So basically like a scammer, like someone that just kind of like just like says shit just to like say it. Like
she has 2.9 million followers.
Like it's disgusting. And another thing that she does is what's another thing that she did? she was on like Joe Rogan's podcast.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh yeah, I don't believe in climate change. And then Joe Rogan's like, are you fucking dumb? Like Joe Rogan's like, why do you not believe in climate change? She's like, well, I'm not saying that it's like a hoax, but I just don't believe it. And then he's like, well, like, do you realize that 90-something% of scientists would say that it is real? So why do you not believe those scientists? He's like, well, I feel like, she's like, oh, I just feel like there's like money in it. And I'm like, excuse me, the only people that say that it's not real are the people that are being paid by like these industries.
And they say that there's money in it. Actually, there's money against it. Like, in a sense that like people that are saying, oh, climate change doesn't exist, or they're not believing it. It's like a lot of the people that are saying this, they have an interest in you know, burning fossil fuels or doing whatever else that is earning them money. So actually their best interest is for people not to believe in climate change. So,
and like she was like, and then Joe Rogan was like pulling up, like, you have to watch this clip. It's like viral.
Yeah.
And so this is why I can't believe people follow her. Yeah. Because it's like, she's so just obviously just faking so much of this shit.
Yeah.
It's like, because like the thing is, if she's getting paid by certain organizations, she's probably not allowed to say like, oh yeah, I believe in climate change. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't even know if I believe that she actually doesn't believe it exists, but I feel like she just like spews out these talking points.
Yeah.
So one of the things, so Joe Rogan's like, well, do you want to pull up like the data that says like how many percentage, like what's the percentage of consensus among scientists? And she's like, oh, what website is that? And he's like, science something .com. And she's like, oh, it's a .com. Well, I don't trust .coms. If it's a .org maybe, but like not .com.
Oh my God.
I'm like, oh my God. Anyways, so I guess she criticized Harry Styles. Would you like to read what she wrote?
I will read her tweet. I think it's a tweet. Okay. So there's a picture of him with his dress on the Vogue cover, and Candace Owens, the lovely Candace Owens, tweets, "There is no society that can survive without strong men. The East knows this. In the West, the steady feminization of our men, at the same time that Marxism is being taught to our children, it's not a coincidence. It's an outright attack. Bring back manly men."
Oh my God.
Because there's massive links of feminization and Marxism, you know, like there's
why is Marxism even being brought up?
Because Marxism is like, it's like
when you're kind of equal.
It's like Karl Marx is the whole like,
yeah, but like when are they teaching children Marxism?
Not that I know that it's like getting crazy. Like all of a sudden everyone, you know, just because some people have liberal ideologies, like I don't get it.
Oh my God. And hold on, what else does she say?
And how she says society can't survive without a strong man.
Okay, first of all, just because one man decides to dress in a dress and go on the cover of a magazine, a fashion magazine, does not mean that we are losing all strong men in society, first of all.
Well, and we have to remember, our society is like a very diverse group of people, right? So just because you have one group that's expressing themselves one way, you're still going to have other people that are doing other things.
What you just lick?
God damn, it'd be dripping down the side.
The tea.
I'll be drinking the tea, you know? Sipping the tea.
You'd be sipping the tea.
God damn. But like, yeah, our society is like a plethora of different people. So like, just because somebody's wearing a dress on a cover or just because somebody's a certain way doesn't mean all people are going to be that way. You know what I mean? It's like
it's just so stupid.
It's like if you had a gay man on the cover or something and they're saying, oh my God,
why don't they say that?
We need only straight men for society to function. Blah, blah, it's just so
I bet you
stupid.
anything, if they could, like if it was still socially acceptable to do so, they would say the same thing about like gay men on cover of magazines and stuff. These are the same people that would criticize gay people about 20 years ago. Now they can't do it because obviously the world has moved on.
Exactly.
And they don't want to be labeled as like homophobic. And of course, Ben Shapiro agreed with Candace Owens. That's not surprising.
God damn.
I just don't like. It's like, oh my God.
So let's
and what is this thing about the East? The East knows that like we can't survive without strong men.
So the East knows this,
as in like what, Asia? Like because Asians, just
I don't know.
Like, is that what she means? But like
But Candace Owens, like, what do you mean? East?
Like Middle East?
Like,
does she want us to be like Middle East?
I'm not sure. I'm confused. This is it. This is it. First of all, her tweet's very misleading. You know, like. And what are
I don't think we want to be like the Middle East in terms of gender equality, do we?
But also, let's depict this part. What's in an outright attack of?
Of masculinity.
Oh, maybe. We're attacking masculinity now.
I don't know.
Oh, God damn, because we know masculinity is a very crucial thing to the foundations of
because
society.
Because the world is just full of men in skirts.
Exactly.
Because this is the biggest of our problems right now.
Oh, God.
It's just like it's like they take these things that are not actually happening and they blow them up into something that is like threatening our society. This is what people do all the time. It's like, oh my God, one guy shows up in a skirt in a Vogue magazine.
But it's fear mongering, right? Like she wants to create. She doesn't want to.
Exactly.
She wants to try to create something out of nothing.
Nothing.
And to create fear in people and being like, oh my God, instead of just accepting the fact that he's wearing a skirt on a magazine cover, she takes it out of context, brings it political now, and is saying this is an outright attack on basically what she's insinuating is that strong masculine men are the foundation of a conservative society, because she's saying these weak or demasculinated men are all of a sudden communists, and that it's an attack. Any man wearing a dress,
oh my God,
it's an attack on our values as a United States of America.
I thought they liked individualism.
This is what I don't understand. It's like, be yourself. Freedom of speech, freedom to be who you are, but do not do this.
Otherwise, you're a Marxist.
Otherwise, you be a communist, and we kick you out of the country.
Seriously. I can't. And it's just. And the fact that it's literally just a photo of him wearing a skirt.
Yeah.
Why does that it doesn't even mean anything. It has nothing to do with him. It's an artistic photo.
Exactly.
So it's like, why does that automatically insinuate that he's not a manly man?
Exactly. But even what the fuck does it matter?
Exactly.
The crazy thing is, if we actually look back in society, back in the day, in the olden days, actually men used to wear wigs and heels and very high up men in the court of law and stuff back in the UK. And I think maybe other countries as well used to wear really elaborate clothes and stuff. So and society functioned fine. We got to where we are now.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if we're necessarily in a good place. So God.
Oh my God, honestly, and it's insane. And I feel like there's also something to say about, men that are so afraid of, looking a little feminine versus a man that's not afraid to be in a skirt.
Exactly. But
Do you know what I mean?
This is the thing that sucks about all of this is it's putting that additional, those people that were afraid of being themselves.
Extra pressure.
Exactly. That's extra pressure thinking, well, fuck, I can't do this now.
I have to be a strong man.
Exactly. I have to be a strong man. I'm not going to suppress my feelings. I got to do whatever, because otherwise you're going to get this kind of backlash. And it's so sad because it's it means that people can express who they are, or, they don't feel comfortable doing it. So, outside maybe the comforts of their own home,
Yeah.
So.
And what also gets me about these people that are conservative women or whatever. And I'm like, you have a job where you can say your opinion and, have a voice in this world. It's why do you think that exists? Yeah. Because people that are opposite of you actually fought for, progressive changes that happened. And so therefore you have this job where you are able to say this kind of shit. Otherwise, why don't you go back to your kitchen and make a fucking sandwich?
Well,
maybe somebody should say that about you, bitch.
I know, this is the crazy thing.
Oh, I hate this.
I know this.
It's just so hypocritical. It's why you're sitting there voicing your fucking opinion about manly men. What about womanly women? What does that even mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
But you're right on so many levels, because look, the fact that she even has a platform, there's quite a few movements that have happened. Look at the whole oh my God,
feminist
movement. You had Martin Luther King, the whole that kind of movement and stuff. If you didn't have those people at the forefront pushing for those rights and pushing and challenging the status quo society and everything else, Candace Owens wouldn't have a platform to stand on. Do you know what I mean? And that's what's so frustrating, is that she's using this platform to to almost super hypocritical, because she's going against kind of things that in the past helped her to have the platform that she has, if that makes sense, because you're right. If you didn't have the whole feminist movement, because we talked about this in another podcast, the whole symbolism of marriage and everything else, and how women were men's property and that kind of stuff, she wouldn't be able to even do this.
Exactly. So what if somebody was oh, what's with this woman talking on Twitter, bring back the womanly women.
Yeah.
Take her back to the kitchen.
Why isn't she not in the kitchen making her kids food?
It's literally the same thing.
I know. It's so crazy.
Does she not wear pants? What the fuck, dude?
It's crazy. There's actually a show that I wanted to watch. I don't know if it's out yet or not. I think it is. I think it was on Netflix, and it was about the women's rights movement.
Oh, interesting.
And I can't remember what it was called. And
is it new?
Yeah, it had Kate Blanchett in it, I think.
Oh, it's like a dramatization.
Yeah,
okay.
I think. And
cool.
it's all about this movement of like these women that are trying to. Yeah, it looked really good.
Yeah.
I'll show you the trailer after. But yeah, Candace Owens, please.
Oh God. And the thing is like the world is always going to move forward. So these people are always going to be like, you know, not on the right side of history at the end of the day.
Yeah, of course.
Do you know what I mean? So like, again, like 20 years ago, gay people said the same type of shit about gay people. Now they can't even say it because now it's inappropriate, whether or not you're in the right or the left. I mean, you can't say it in public anyway. So it's like, and even like being racist, that was, you know, again, a conservative thing.
Exactly.
You know? So
it's funny because you know what, at the end of the day, you know, our children are going to be reading textbooks and going back on what seeing Candace Owens and being like, what a fucking idiot. And she'll be one of those people that is like lessons learned. Do you know what I mean?
Oh my God. And then she wrote, since I'm trending, I'd like to clarify what I meant when I said bring back manly men. I meant bring back manly men. Terms like toxic masculinity were created by toxic females. Real women don't do fake feminism. Sorry, I'm not sorry. What the fuck is fake feminism?
I don't get what she's even meaning there. Like what? Okay, I'd like to clarify what I said. Bring back manly men.
She's basically saying I'm doubling down on what I'm saying.
Yeah, bring back.
And I'm not apologizing.
Yeah. Terms like toxic masculinity were created by toxic females.
Like, do you know what toxic masculinity is?
Yeah, it's like guys that are just like, it's too like overly masculine, I guess. Is that like
kind of? I mean, I think it's like an overarching term for just the societal concept of masculinity. It's like everything. So it's like, for example, expecting men to like not be emotional.
Oh yeah.
You know, like expecting men. It's basically just like the whole concept of masculinity.
And it's toxic because it's not good for the people.
It's not good for anybody because, like, you know, obviously there's a lot of issues with men as well because it is a legitimate like toxic masculinity is sometimes maybe it's thrown you know around too much. Yeah. But there are legitimate concerns. For example, you know, mental health among males is a lot more of a concern because they don't feel like they can express themselves.
Yeah.
But anyway, oh my God, this woman cannot be taken seriously.
Oh my God.
Like it's what bugs me is that she has so many people following her.
I know.
And it's like disgusting. I just like don't get it.
It just sucks. Like this does piss me off. It's like people like this where I'm just like, she does have such a big following. She is influencing so many people, like, and it's like,
how much money could she be making for her to be like spewing this shit? It's like, and especially against like black people, like her own kind.
I know. This
like
is what
the
the
things
worst
that she says.
I know.
I remember like one of the things that she said in that video that she made about George Floyd went viral. Yeah. Which pissed me off even more. And so many people were sharing it as if she was making so much sense. And I was like, this woman is full of shit. Like she said, what else? Like she said, first of all, she's like, oh yeah, I'm not saying that he deserved to die, but I'm saying that he was high on fentanyl when he died. I'm like, first of all, that's not fucking true, bitch.
Yeah.
Like there's actually no evidence like to say that he was high on fentanyl.
Exactly.
And even if he was, he clearly died because of somebody standing on his neck. Yeah. So that's one thing. And then she also said like, she's like, oh, it's a myth that black people get like, you know,
marginalized.
No, what? It's a myth that police brutality against black people is worse. Yeah. And she said this very misleading statistic. I remember this because I was like, oh my God, because it's hard to catch when you first hear it. Yeah. She's like, oh yeah. What did she say? She's like, oh, police are 18 times. If you're a white man, you are 18 times more likely to be killed by police if you're a violent white criminal. And I was like, so basically, if you're a violent white criminal, you're 18 times more likely to be killed by police than the other way around. Yeah. And then I was like, and then she said that as like one of her main points. And I did, first of all, the fact that she said violent white criminal, but she didn't say it like, oh, if you're a violent white criminal. She said it like, if you're a violent white criminal. So she didn't emphasize the word violent, but she said it. Okay. So basically what she means is if you're a violent person, as if you have like, if you are a threat to the police officer, then you are 18 times more likely to be killed by police than the other way around, as in, which makes fucking sense, obviously. Exactly, yeah. And then if you actually take that statistic and the same like logic and the math, which doesn't even make sense in the first place, and if you take out the black people, that number is even higher. Yeah. So it's like, so she does this like on purpose. Like she deliberately says misleading shit to make the whole thing seem nonsensical.
How does she sleep with herself at night?
I don't understand. How do you live like this? Like, do you think she believes it now? I think like you have to believe it on some level now.
I feel like she probably does, but
but it's like, I can't. Anyways, not a fan.
So Ben Shapiro, is this who also commented?
Yes, the one that doesn't know what a WAP is.
Oh yeah, this is perfectly obvious. Anyone who pretends that it is not a referendum on masculinity for men to don floofy dresses is treating you as a full-on
I don't
idiot.
even know what he's saying.
And then Candace Owens again. There's no society. Oh no,
he's retweeting what she wrote.
Yeah. Oh God, people.
Oh my God, honestly, I can't.
I mean, I just.
And Ben Shapiro, I'm sorry, you are definitely not the example of a manly man. Let me just put that out there. It's just like, ugh.
I love that thing how everyone was like commenting though about how he doesn't please his wife or something because he clearly doesn't know what a WAP was.
Okay, but like, oh God, he's such an idiot.
I know.
Oh God.
So funny.
Oh, it's so embarrassing.
Yeah. I just really hope that like, you know, people can take Candace Owens and what she's saying and people like Ben Shapiro as well and take a step back and be like, oh my God, like actually read into what these people are saying and try to like take what these people are saying and try to like, you know, be critical, you know what I mean? And actually think about what these people are saying. And, you know, and again, like some of the stuff that they're rambling, when people don't make sense as well, like some of the stuff that Candace Owens is like writing, when people don't make sense, it makes me question the validity of their statements. When they kind of ramble random shit, like I'm just like, okay, well, you don't make any sense. You're a bit all over the place. And I don't like you. So.
Oh my God, honestly, I cannot.
God damn, it's just ridiculous.
Oh, this makes me, and it's just like, oh God. It's just a dude in a skirt on cover of a fucking magazine. Get over it, bitch.
Yep. Couldn't have said it better myself, Rose, even if I tried.
Seriously.
I
would love if this was my biggest problem. You know,
damn.
I would love if this was society's biggest problem.
I know.
Let me just tell you, you know, she doesn't believe in global warming,
but
God. She believes that the biggest problem that she wants to complain about is the fact that
our men are becoming womanly.
Apparently, because they're wearing skirts.
And it's unacceptable.
A piece of fabric that doesn't have 2 legs.
God damn.
All right, next story.
Oh. Okay.
Anyway, I do not like her, if you haven't guessed.
As you can tell, guys, we're both not fans of Candace Owens.
Well, she's a fake... I'll stop calling her the B word.
The thing with her, again... If I could feel like there was some credibility or something to what she was saying, but like honestly, I looked at her stuff on Instagram. I've like seen now her tweets here.
She's full of shit.
She's just an idiot.
Oh, here's another fact about her is another reason why I don't trust anything she says, as in like I don't believe that she believes what she's saying because she says stuff like, oh yeah, racism. I can't remember exactly what she said, but I think she said something like, "Oh, racism was never really a big issue until like Obama or something crazy."
What?
Yes, she said something insane like this.
See, she needs a fucking history lesson.
But
go back to the times of when Martin Luther King was fighting for like equal rights and stuff, and like this woman needs a wake up call.
But
what the fuck?
No, listen. But the crazy thing is, when she was a liberal, she actually sued. So there was something that happened in her school. Maybe she was in high school or university. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Something that happened in her school where she was a target of like a racist kind of, I don't know if it was an attack or if it was like, bullying or something, some sort of race related bullying. And she sued these students and took like a pretty good amount of time off of school because she was traumatized from this racially motivated attack.
But I thought racism doesn't exist.
Exactly.
God damn.
So she's full of shit.
Yeah.
Oh,
moving on. We're gonna leave Candace Owens behind where she needs to be left. All right, on to our next story, guys. So this one I'm gonna like read out a little bit, and then I kind of want to hear your thoughts.
My thoughts.
Goddamn. So the headline of this story is, I guess the EU hit Amazon with an antitrust charges, accusing it of predatory behavior against small businesses. Now, I know this isn't the first time Amazon has been in the news. So basically, these charges were filed on a Tuesday. I don't know when this article was written, the 11th. So this would have been last week. In those charges, the European Commission accused Amazon of abusing its dual role as both a retailer and a merchant. By being both a retailer and a merchant, Amazon hosts thousands of vendors on its website, allowing them a place to sell their products, while at the same time selling its own products there. And obviously, many small businesses use Amazon because it's such a great, place to sell things online. However, Amazon has been long accused of replicating products that they sell on the website. Oftentimes, what am I trying to say?
Would you like help?
However, Amazon has been long accused of replicating products that sell well on the website. Oftentimes then selling those similar products for much cheaper. So they'll be like undercutting the other businesses that are there. Moves like this that severely damage small businesses that don't have the same level of resources as Amazon does. It also means smaller businesses are left in a damned if I do, damned if I don't situation, having to decide between relying on the exposure that Amazon brings to grow a business and potentially having those ideas ripped off by Amazon.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. So,
shall we continue or should we talk about our thoughts?
Well, what are your thoughts on that so far?
Well, it's very similar to a lot of business models nowadays, like Airbnb or even Uber Eats.
Uber Eats, yeah.
Like companies like Uber Eats, or I don't know what they use in the States, but in Canada we have Skip the Dishes, DoorDash, which are delivery companies. So they deliver on behalf of restaurants. So now a lot of these businesses that are very successful now are very, they're good for the consumer.
Yeah.
And the consumers use them, and even we use them. So it's like we use Airbnb, I use Amazon, I use, DoorDash, Skip the Dishes, all these things. But at the same time, from the business owner's perspective, it is definitely a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. Because, I'm not sure about Airbnb, but like, for example, like because I have the cafe and obviously we use the delivery services because of the fact, especially because it's the vid.
Because of the vid.
So, but they charge an extortionate amount for commission.
Yeah.
And a lot of restaurants complain about this commission because again, it's like if we're on there, you might make a little bit extra money, but you're still, restaurant margins are already very, very low.
True.
So you're already not making much on each sale, but then you're giving, these delivery companies 20 to 30% of your final price.
True. But I think with this Amazon one, I get
this
what you're
one's
saying.
a bit different.
Yeah, because I was going to say it would almost be like, okay, let's say Uber Eats was here and you were using Uber Eats.
And then they started selling the same food.
Exactly. But for cheaper. Yeah.
Yes. So it's even worse. Amazon is worse.
Yeah. So I can see what you mean.
For sure. Yes.
You are damned if you do, damned if you don't, because for that model, you do need to use these services because otherwise you can't really, you can have your cafe or whatever just there, but for delivery, you have only limited options. But yeah, this is even worse in a way because it's like you use their website in a sense to sell your product, and then they're using that consumer information that they're getting.
That's crazy.
So like Amazon would say, like, let's say you made these beautiful mugs or something, right? And you were doing actually quite well.
Yeah.
Amazon can see what people are buying.
Right. And they create.
And then they use those analytics to say, oh, well, Roses.
I didn't know they created their own products.
Well, this is the argument that they have been doing, is that they've been replicating a lot of them. So
really?
Yeah. And undercutting.
As if, oh God, seriously, like honestly, we probably should be boycotting Amazon.
Oh God.
But it's so like, this is the problem. They make it so convenient for you. This is the issue with everything. It's like you're in this, again, the system.
Damned if you do, damned if you
don't.
Yes.
Where it's like, you're almost like, it's so convenient that you're going to use it. And if you go somewhere else, you're going to be paying like a lot more.
Well, and it's not even just about it is about the convenience, but it is also like from my experience of using some of these apps, it's like the level of service as well. So like, for example, like a really good example that I can think of is in London using Uber. So like, for example, you have a few options, you have like black cabs, everything else. The thing is, Uber, not only is it, it was more reliable. I seem to be able to get them. You don't have to have one around to get it. So it's more convenient. It was lots cheaper, but also
so much cheaper.
Exactly. And the overall service was better because at the end of the day, you would get home and you could see if they ripped you off because you could walk, you could follow your ride, So there's just so many different things. So it's like overall a better service. So as a consumer, even though you hear all of these things about how Uber treats their drivers and everything else, it's hard because it's like, well, am I going to pay double the price for something, get worse service?
Yeah.
Like, so you're kind of in a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. Yeah.
But then you feel kind of evil for using these services. Guilty,
but at the same time,
the same thing with Airbnb versus hotels.
Yes. That's another
because it's like Airbnb. One of the things about Airbnb was that in certain countries, especially maybe in like Spain, for example, a lot of people that normally would rent out their apartment for regular what's the word I'm looking for, tenants.
Yeah.
They all of a sudden switch to Airbnb because they're going to make a lot more money on Airbnb for travelers because obviously certain countries tourism is big. Not so much anymore, unfortunately. But so then that screws over people that live in those countries and in those cities because now they have less of less choices for rent. Yeah. So then they get maybe the prices go up because of that. I mean, there's so many problems. But then for the people like us that are traveling, it's like, are we going to pay $200 a night for a hotel when we can pay like $50 for an Airbnb?
Our own house? with our own kitchen where we can do stuff. Yeah. Like, and this is the thing. And the thing that sucks too is, again, using those services. It's like Airbnb is another good example. Is not only are you not in a hotel, but within Airbnb, sometimes you can get some really cool properties where it's like really funky places. Like,
it's like local.
Cool, that kind of stuff. But I see what you mean. Like, that's causing a huge, especially in places like Portugal, Spain, Italy, some of these like high volume tourist destinations, is a lot of the long-term rentals that people that live there need. There's not as many of those because people are just switching to Airbnb, and it's just driving the cost up for everyone else. So everyone else is kind of getting screwed. Which
That's why they need regulation. All of this just needs regulation. All of this. Like, for example, if Amazon did not have predatory pricing and all of these shady behaviors, they could still probably be very successful.
Yeah.
They just, like, I mean, maybe Jeff Bezos would have $1 billion less out of his like 500 billion or however the fuck. He's like the richest man alive. You can fucking get away with not being so goddamn predatory.
Exactly.
But then the reason why they become so successful is because of the fact that probably they're fucking predatory as fuck and they have no soul.
This is like it's so bad. So basically I want to find out what happened here. So this is so you have this issue with Amazon apparently undercutting other businesses. They get their ideas ripped off by Amazon. So this is where apparently the European commissions come in. And according to the commission, which reviewed data from more than 80 million transactions and 100 million products on Amazon in France and Germany, the EU's two largest markets, the company is routinely integrating non-public seller data from other vendors into its own retail algorithms.
That's so shady.
Essentially, if true, that would mean Amazon is looking at metrics such as the number of a certain product sold by independent vendors on Amazon, as well as how much money those vendors have made from each product.
Right. So I see what they're saying by this is a conflict of interest because they have all of that data.
Yeah.
And these people are essentially you're becoming their competitor.
Yeah.
And now you have all the competitive data on them and they don't know anything about you.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so shady.
Exactly. That information, which isn't able to be accessed by other vendors on Amazon, would then allow Amazon to determine which new products it should roll out and how much to charge for them.
See, this is scary because this is why they're becoming like a monopoly almost, right? And already it feels like, even just in the last 10 years, think about how many people shop on Amazon now versus eBay used to be a thing. Nobody was really on eBay anymore. So now everyone, and now if you think about buying something, first place I go is Amazon. Maybe I shouldn't. But that's like, it's like, that's where you go, you know?
Yeah.
It's like and maybe they should not be able to sell their own products.
Yeah, that should
They should just be a marketplace.
Again, this is where legislation needs to come in, because this is actually so, now that I've like read this fully,
so shady.
This is so bad, because literally what you're doing is essentially, because you're the platform in which companies are using to sell their products, you're collecting that information. You have the information against your competitors, literally what they're selling, how much they're selling of it, the prices they're selling, the margins, the like every single detail about it. So then you know to inform your business how to run properly. So
and then people, because they want to sell products, they still have to be on Amazon.
Exactly.
Because that's the only place that they're going to get exposure.
Exactly. Because they can't just sell. If they're not on Amazon, they're not going to sell their products. So they're stuck. Again, damned if you do, damned if you don't. This is way worse than I thought it was.
Well, I mean, we know all about Amazon and how fucking shady their business practices are.
This is bad.
It's really bad.
But again, I think when it gets to companies of this size and what's going on, this is where the governments need to step in. Like, this is where they need to say, okay, or whoever, I don't know, like the regulators or whatever need to be like, okay, Amazon's already, you have a very successful platform in which people are selling selling products. So they could either do one of two things. They could say, Amazon, you're not allowed to, what's it called, to sell those products. Or they have to set up what's known as like Chinese walls.
What are Chinese walls?
So like, for example, if you have like a company that's like working on something that's conflict of interest within the company. So a lot of like investment firms or things that are like, there might be, I'm trying to think of a good example of what might be a conflict of interest, but like, let's say you have two clients at a firm that you're their investment managers for, and they're merging or something, and one part of the office can't know. You have like this thing called like a Chinese wall, where they might be operating in a separate business, or they might be in separate offices or whatever, but it's a distinct, and they're not allowed legally. This is a legal thing. They're not allowed to share information between each other. So they could say with Amazon, which I think this could be a fair way of doing it, is saying that Amazon is legally not allowed to collect the information from those from their competitors on their platform.
Yeah.
They can still sell their product, but they're not allowed to take that information. How that would be enforced and how they would do it, I don't know. But I think that's a one potential solution. But
oh God. Who knows?
It's bad as hell, Rose.
I know, but he's the richest man in the world, so I feel like he could probably just get away with everything.
Oh goddamn no.
He could get away with murder.
Well, this is why we have, we try to put rules in place to govern our society.
Oh,
because otherwise people like this and companies like this will do whatever they want. Oh, that's why you have things like the European Commission coming in and saying, actually, you can't do this. So the fact that this story is even coming out is a good thing.
It is a good thing. I'm glad they're talking about it.
Yeah.
But the problem is, like Amazon has been in the news for a long time for a whole bunch of, not just this, but so many shady practices, treating the workers like shit. So, and I'm wondering, has anything changed?
I don't know. It's just like, again, it's also hard as consumers because part of the reason why a lot of people shop on Amazon is because you can find really good deals for things.
Yeah.
And obviously.
And now they have Amazon Prime where you get things shipped in like 2 days.
Not even a day sometimes.
Sometimes not even a day. I try not to use like the really express shipping because apparently that's also like bad for the
environment.
Maybe for the environment as well, but also for the workers because they're like overworked and maybe.
And I mean, you can wait a day for whatever you're waiting. More than a day.
Yeah. Like unless I'm like maybe I like forgot to buy a present. Yeah. And it's like last minute, but like usually I'm like, okay, I'll do the whatever long shipping. But like, oh God, it's just it sucks because it is a good service.
I know this is the thing, and but also as we as consumers are faced with increasing pricing pressures in our own lives, as the cost of living is going up, we're also looking for deals, right? We mentioned about traveling. I'm not going to stay at a $200 a night hotel when I can stay at a $50 Airbnb. Because again, for me, I can't I'm also faced with these pressures of like, I have to watch where I'm spending my money on. I'm not Jeff Bezos or whatever with $1 bazillion dollars so I can stay wherever I want.
This is what I'm saying. When you're in this like system, you can be as critical of it as you want, but then you're still participating in it because you're almost forced to as a result of like living in this society.
It's exactly like these retailers. Yeah. They're forced to be on Amazon. Some of them probably don't even want to be on Amazon.
Oh, like I guarantee you most of them don't even want to be on Amazon.
They're probably like, fuck this. I would rather just do my own thing, but I have to be on Amazon. I already know that Amazon's stealing my products and trying to sell like similar stuff.
And they probably take like a commission out of it too.
Well, and they probably would. Like, I mean, there's just so many different...
this is the unfortunate part about all these new companies that you have unforeseeable consequences. Whew.
But this is what's happening is a lot of these, especially these like kind of tech-ish companies, they're starting to become, we have like, especially in Canada, we do have laws and stuff against monopolies.
Yeah.
But you're getting these multinational companies that are becoming more and more like monocentric.
Like a monopoly.
Yeah, like a monopoly.
Like Facebook.
Well, it's like, oh my God, I remember actually, this wasn't even that long ago, like maybe 6 years ago when I was doing my degree. And I remember one of our classes, they looked at like some of the biggest brands in the world. Yeah. And they did like this like brand map. And I don't remember obviously the full ins and outs of it, but it was like crazy because all of the biggest brands were owned by like a certain number of big
There's
companies.
Like 4 companies that own everything.
And I was just like, I was actually like blown away because there was like big brands. And I was like, I thought these were separate, but they're actually owned by the same company. Yeah. Like it's the parent so company. Shady.
And like all the fashion brands are like owned by one company. Yeah. It's like all the fucking makeup brands are like owned by the same company.
Exactly.
It's just so shady.
So you're like,
even media, it's all owned by the same fucking like 4 people.
Yeah.
it's so
nuts.
Bad.
You have these multinational conglomerates of like multi-billion-dollar industries.
God damn.
And
Big Brother be watching us.
God damn. And there'd be no separation. There'd be all kind of things.
I know. It's so bad. That's why it's like even like with fashion or like makeup, you know how there's like high end versus like, cheaper products. Sometimes I'm just like, it's all made by the same fucking company.
Exactly.
At the end of the day, they just market it differently.
Exactly.
So it's like, I don't know.
And it's funny because you think, I want to get this like ethically sourced, this blah 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 blah, and then you realize like that company is owned by the same company that's producing the other
I know. See, but that's another like damned if you do, damned if you don't situation because, for example, there are, for example, some certain vegan companies, right? So let's say I started a vegan fucking, tea company. I don't know. Okay. And it became successful. I don't know why I said tea. It's because there's tea in front of me.
Yeah.
It became like super fucking successful, but I'm by myself.
Yeah.
So the way that our, system works is usually I would sell it to a larger company and make, take home like millions of dollars, and then I can retire and everything's fine.
You might get a royalty or something.
Sure.
Or,
And then this big company, one of the good things about, having a larger corporation buying your company is that now it has more, they have more money to spread this
like
brand.
Distribution, marketing.
Exactly. They have like all of the powerful things in order to grow the brand bigger. So that's why it's like, it's again, but then people will complain that it's like, well, it used to be this, vegan owned company.
Yeah.
Now you're under the same umbrella as this meat company and this dairy company. And it's like, it becomes, and I don't know what the answer is at the end of the day. I think again, under this system that we have, unfortunately, I would still support the vegan company, even if it was bought by a non-vegan, huge conglomerate.
I think that's
conglomerate. Is that the right word?
I think it is the right word. But I think in that example, if you had a company that owned like a dairy company and a vegan company, let's just say vegan milk or vegan soy milk, and then a dairy company, even if you're buying and technically the profits are still going to that parent company, the parent company is also going to be doing analytics and saying where the sales are coming from, right?
Yes.
So like if sales are pushing away from you're still going to make a difference, but the money's still going to the same hands.
Exactly.
So that's the part where it's like, it's
unfortunate, but unfortunately everything's driven by money. It's the same thing with like Tyson Foods. I think Tyson Foods is like a huge food company, and now they're investing a lot in, I think, plant-based, food, because obviously not because they care about it, but because it's where the money is.
Yeah.
So it's like, do you support, that part then? If, and some vegans will say they don't want to support.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, well, I mean, this is unfortunately the system we have to work with. Like, I would rather support the mom and pop shop, down the road that only sells vegan products. But unfortunately, that can't grow unless you have this powerful,
exactly.
Which is unfortunate.
Oh, God,
damned
guys.
if you do, damned if you don't.
Is that the lesson from today's podcast?
Yes. Okay, we got another thing here, which is another damned if you do not.
Oh, goddamn. Oh, yeah, I forgot about this story. I was like, oh my
God. So final story, guys. We'll wrap it up quickly because I think we've been rambling for a while. We have.
It's been a long one.
So this other story, guys. Now, if you just bought a home, and you're like, damn, I want to show this off.
Yeah.
And I want everyone on my social media, on my Instagrams, on my Twitter, and my Facebook to see the keys, because I'll be a homeowner. You know, people take the photo of the
keys outside
the key outside the home,
outside the number of the house.
Oh, the number of the house. That's
so you're just
true.
you're like, oh, look at this. I got this like lovely,
the home. I made it in life because I bought a home. Which, by the way, if you think that you made it in life because you bought a home, you need to reevaluate your life. But anyways, you know what? It's fine. You can be proud of yourself.
Exactly.
You put in a down payment. You bought a home.
Worked hard.
You're a homeowner. Fantastic. Although the bank still owns your home. But anyways.
Yeah.
Do not take a photo of your keys because
apparently, so this is what's happened is there's been like a big scandal about a lot of like TikTokers and people like doing this whole like showing the keys, and people are saying basically be really, really careful. Don't do this because there's this new, I don't know if it's new, but this company basically that's created this app, which in taken outside of this context, the app does seem kind of cool. Like if you lost your keys or whatever, you'd basically have a picture of your key on your phone. And, based on the, like, I guess the grooves in the key, the locksmith is able to like somehow, make a replica of this key so that you can get back into your house. And you could like, you and your flatmate could have it or whatever. But what they said is like, you have to be really, really careful because if this picture or whatever of your key gets into the wrong hands, someone could like copy the key to your house and essentially get into your house. Which if you're posting pictures of you at your house number, probably tag the city as well. People tag the location in their post with the number of the house with the keys dangling like this. There's Photoshop people.
Oh, God damn.
People gonna cut you out of the picture. They're gonna get that key in there.
I wonder if there has been any situations where people got broken into.
I think this is more of a warning to people. I don't know if it's actually happened yet, but like the fact that there's this app, like I didn't even believe it exists. I like had to Google it and I was like, oh my God, like it's just really scary.
It is scary. I don't know how I feel about this.
Yeah. You must have the foresight to snap a picture of your key, blah, 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 blah. Like, I mean, it is scary. It's like a little bit like, oh my God. But
oh God. This is the problem again with constantly having to invent these fucking apps. I mean, is this really necessary? this like photograph your house key. I mean, it might help.
People that have lost their key might say that it is.
Daniel, how many people have been people have been losing their key for centuries?
Mm-hmm. We've
never needed this app.
But you could say this about a lot of apps, Rose.
I'm just saying.
You could say this about a lot of things.
I don't know. I think this gonna create more problems.
Well, it sounds like it is already. So we're going to leave you guys with that happy note and say whatever you do, like obviously, you know, if you get a house and whatever, be proud.
Blur out the key.
But just blur out the key or make it like so it's not the key.
Just hold the key in your hand.
Yeah,
okay?
Cover it up. Don't let people see it.
Remember, the bank still, you still owe the bank money.
Exactly. And if you don't pay that mortgage, that bank going to be coming.
Well, actually, that's okay. Let me just end on this note, okay? And again, I'm not shitting on anybody that bought a home. We're thinking about buying homes eventually ourselves.
Exactly.
So there's nothing wrong with that. But the concept of like society, there's certain things society celebrates, right? When you buy a home, that's one of them. That's like a milestone.
Yeah.
But it's always funny to me because I'm like, just because you bought a home, technically, doesn't mean you bought the home. Like. No. You still owe the bank like hundreds of thousands of dollars. So it's like, how come, we celebrate these things? Like if you're renting, like nobody thinks that's a success.
No.
But it's like you could be richer than a homeowner.
100%.
And you're not in debt.
Think about a lot of people that are really like house poor as well.
Exactly.
And stuff, right? So there's a lot of things to obviously like, again, we're not shitting on people that are buying homes. Like we are considering in the next little while, but
it's the idea of like this being seen as a level of success.
Yeah.
Which is
ironic because if you have high levels of debt, that's considered a failure.
But I guess like a home isn't seen as like, I mean, it's still debt, but it is debt.
Yeah.
And like, remember back in the housing crisis, the reason why like so many people couldn't keep their homes.
Exactly.
So it's like, it's this, again, I think it's damaging to think that, if I buy a home, I'll be seen as successful. I think that is the problem. There's nothing wrong with buying a home. There's a lot of reasons to buy a home.
Exactly.
There's a lot of reasons to rent a home. But at the end of the day, neither are more or less successful than the other. It all depends on your circumstance.
Exactly. And what you're looking for. And there's so many different things to consider. So just think of that carefully before you go and purchase a
Life
home.
Lessons with Rose and Daniel. Yes. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed this episode. We had a lot of fun. I think I raged a bit.
Yeah, I think we both did. We were a little bit hyper with the tea that Rose made, and we were really sipping the tea today, weren't we?
Well, I don't appreciate some dumbass people.
Oh, goddamn. I don't either. So
anyway, guys, no hate. Don't send any hate toward anybody, okay? Just keep the hate here.
So, yeah,
thanks so much for listening. Make sure you check us out on Patreon. Remember, we do a bonus episode every single month on Patreon only. So it is patreon.com/TheSaVeg You will get all episodes ad-free and a week earlier than everybody else.
Exactly. And also, if you're not already, follow us on your favorite platform, wherever you're listening to this podcast. And check us out on Instagram if you're not following us already at The SaVeg Podcast. And shout out to us. Send us some messages. We love hearing from you. And as always, enjoy your week and stay tuned for next week with The SaVeg Podcast.
Bye, guys.
Bye.